Okay, now we're recording. Now we're just trying to get somewhere back in. I don't see her. Okay, well, we'll record for her. Okay, so we've had a lot of appreciation over the last few years. So people have a lot of equity in their homes. They refinanced over the last couple of years. Now they've got these insanely low rates that they don't want to give up. But let me see if I can find. Here we go. I just had it. Sorry. Let me break.
Hey, Jen, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
So I know we used to tell our clients that if they would take their monthly principal and interest payment, divide that by 12, and just make that amount more every month as a principal payment, it would take off like 7 or 8 years. Is with the new interest rates being so high, is that still the same scenario?
It really is. It actually has more of effect with the higher rate than it did with the lower rate because you're paying so little interest at your 3%, 4% that it's more effective now.
Okay, wonderful. Just wanted to make sure we're still giving the best advice.
Yes. Yeah. Where did it go? I'm sorry. I just went in and had all these going and now I've lost my brain. Oh, let's talk about paying points real quick. This is getting very, very common. People will pay points when they get their mortgage. So interest rates come with either a cost or a credit or what we call par. So say today's par rate is 6.25. That means it doesn't cost a buyer anything to get that rate and it doesn't give them anything for that rate. So if I have a buyer who's really struggling on closing costs, we go with a higher rate. So if we're at 6.25, we go like 6.5, and they would get, and it changes every day on the percentage amount, but maybe it's $1,000. It will help offset their closing cost for the cost of the rate. If they're looking for better rate, they may want to come in and pay 1 point, and 1 point is equal to 1% of the loan amount to get a lower interest rate. So let's see if this one works. And I'm just going to use 350,000 because that's about average right now. So 6.25, 30-year, we're going to do points. So annual rate with points, we'll say it's 5.75, and the buyer's going to pay 1% to get that rate. So here's the difference. Let's see if I calculate it out completely. About $150 a month by paying 1% up front. So the cost to recover that over the life of the loan, it'll take them 2 years and they'd be ahead. Does that make sense? And then, but what I was talking about was, where is this? Oh, this is the appreciation. Nope, that's not it. I am so sorry. I just went through all of this. Okay, I think this is one more. Nope. I'm sorry, I had just had this. Cost of waiting. This one's fun. So we're in Las Cruces. Let's put that in here. So, and I hear this a lot. It's like, I'm going to wait to buy a house until prices come down or rates come down. I don't think we're seeing any of that happening. So if we're going to buy a house today, $350,000, that's about right for property taxes, homeowners insurance, standard tax deduction. No, let's just not even do that part. Let's continue on. So we're appreciating it. Karen, what would you say our appreciation rate is right now?
Sorry, it took me a second to unmute. Appreciation rate right now?
Uh-huh.
I mean, right now, all the projections are like 3 to 5%, so go with the low, maybe like 3%.
Okay.
And buyers have slowed down a little bit, so probably 3%.
This one's not doing what I want to do. This one's not doing it. Really want to buy the refi one. I really came in early and had all this running. I use this all the time too. So, okay, since I can't find it, I'll just kind of explain it. So we talk about blended rates. So you look at the cost of your home loan, your car loan, your credit cards, and what are you really paying every month? So let's say we've got 5 different loans. Our first loan, I like 350 today. And we're on that nice little low rate from a year and a half ago at 3.25. We owe $25,000 on a car. We've got, say, 6.99% rate on that. We owe $15,000 on credit card. Those are sitting at 22+% rate. We've got a department store card, $2,500. We'll set 25%. And then we've got another big credit card sitting over here. So in all actuality, you've got $410,000 out and you're paying 5.1% interest on everything. So this is where we're seeing people come in and looking at cash out refinances. During COVID, nobody went anywhere or spent any money. So credit cards were paid off. People had savings. We've seen the cost for everything go up. People are back out in the world. They're spending money. And credit card debt is hitting an all-time national high. But now we've got equity sitting in our homes. So that's where we have people coming in now and saying, okay, let's do this instead. Now they've cut their monthly bills in half. And you take that money, apply it back towards your principal. Now you're still paying your loan off in half the time without all the other debt. And you're still cash flowing better. So that's becoming a new big trend in what we're seeing. As far as how rates work and where they derive from, let me show you this. So everybody talks about the Fed fund rate. That is not what drives mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are driven by mortgage-backed securities, and that's what we're looking at here. So the higher mortgage-backed security sells for, the lower the rate. So this is a chart of how the securities have been moving over the last quarter. You do 2 years, and you can see this is where rates were really super low, and then we started coming up as the cost of the securities dropped. And now we're starting to work our way back. Let me just come back in a little closer. So greens are good days, reds are bad. We compare it to the 10-year treasury. We like to see that one stay down. And when we see this coupon rate of 5.5, every rate has a coupon. This is just what we're tracking. It's not necessarily today's market rate, but that's where everything bases on. So in mortgage-backed securities, where those are held, you'll see them a lot in your 401ks that you'll have like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac in there. And that is blocks of money that is backing homes. You'll see HUD in there. So that's kind of, yeah. Questions? This is a good one too. Are you seeing a lot of renters trying to come into the market, Cameron?
No, surprisingly, I think because the rates are trying to scare them off, and we do try to explain, I do everything in the world that I can to explain to people, like, yes, the interest rate is at, 6 whatever, 7 whatever percent, but pay rent, it's 100%. It's
Correct.
100% because 100% of that is going somewhere else and not
You're
to you.
you're getting nothing for it.
Right.
I
Um,
just There was a
I,
story that came out this weekend. I don't know if you guys caught it on Las Cruces has the fastest growing rents in the United States.
yes, I
They've
did
gone up
see that.
51% in the last year.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I almost think it would be super cool. Like I was kind of thinking about it of doing like some sort of seminar that not like we love to do like first time home buyer seminars.
mhm.
And those are great. And I love those. I think those are great, but I almost like like literally call it like a renter's seminar and show them the benefits of buying versus renting. Like it's almost something that we need to do because there's so many people that would rather pay $1,200, $1,800, $2,000. I'm like, do you know what kind of a mortgage you could get
Yeah.
for that?
Uh,
So yeah,
One of my all-time favorite customers I've ever had. It was a 92-year-old woman and a 94-year-old man who were signing for their very first home. They had rented the same property for 47 years.
oh my gosh.
And let me tell you how hard they were laughing at
Oh,
closing.
oh
Like,
God.
it's a 30-year loan. We're in our 90s.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, this just kind of gives you a little bit of an overview that if you actually bought at what you rent, what your appreciation game is, amortization game, you just do so much better. Um, I had a friend tell me just last week the house she's living in went up $300 and they're hitting her for another 300 this year.
Oh my goodness.
So, it really is important to get renters in ownership, and it is expensive. But you also, nobody's going to kick you out next month.
Right.
So, and we do see a lot of that. People coming in, they want to buy. They've got a very short time crunch. They've been a month to month with their landlord and they decide we're going to sell and the house sells instantly.
Right.
So it's like, get ahead of that game.
Yeah,
Take control.
absolutely.
Yeah. So that's just kind of a fun one. We can play with that. What is this? Mini loan. All right. Yeah. This, you do better owning. One to great appreciation. And one of the things we are seeing too with a lot of buyers coming in now is they are in a lot of debt. We're a couple years ago, they paid all their debt off. So it is really important to get the debt under control early. I will recommend to customers, let's go get a consolidation loan so that we can get the house and reduce your monthly outgoing of money. And that works. But it's just, you got to get the roadmap first. And everybody's so different. Everybody's credit situation is different. It's not a one size fits all. And very much you have to sit down with the customer and ask them, what are your end goals? Are you looking at this house forever, for 2 years, 3 years? Is your career going to be changing? Are you finishing up school? To make sure you're putting them in the right place, giving them the right tools to make sure that they are maximizing their money into the equity position of their home. You talk about ARMs and fixed rates. ARMs used to be a very different rate from a fixed rate. ARMs would be a lot less expensive. Right now in the market, we thought ARMs would make a bigger comeback. The rate's so close to a fixed that most of the time it's not worth it. A few years ago, it would be, I'd have a customer coming in, they knew they were only going to be living here for 2-3 years. They would take a 3-year fixed ARM at a super low rate because they knew they'd be selling the house. There was never a point of, oh, this is going to adjust up. Historically, ARMs have outperformed fixed rate mortgages that overall you pay a lower rate. That's not happening right now. Is this the one I've been looking for? Yes, I found it. Okay, refinance. Okay. So say this is my existing house. I bought it for $250,000. Property taxes, insurance. And I bought this house in 2011. We'll just call it June. So today, with the way appreciation has worked, if I bought my house then, it should be worth about $452,000. So let's say I refinance this loan for $210,000, 30-year conventional. I got that pretty 3.25 rate. So now I've got all this equity. There's where we go. Now let's play with debts. We've got a vehicle loan. Balance on that's 25,000. Payment on that, we'll say 550. Let's do, we've got some credit cards. The American Express. We've got 14,000 on that. And these sound like crazy high credit card balances. This is what we're seeing. So payment on that's $250 a month. Debt. We got the Visa card. And we only have 100, 170. So we're looking at, we've got our house payment. Now we're one car. We've got two cars in most families. So let's go ahead and throw another car in there. Oh, that vehicle lease. Installment. And this one's 35,000. Okay, so now here's what we're looking at. We're paying $950 or $975 a month in, oops, that one didn't go in there. Okay, $1,600. So when we talk about ratios, this is how much of our gross income is going to service our monthly debt. So 30%, 33% in this situation was going to service our house payment. We've got another 10% going towards our consumer debt. So we do a new loan. Let's see, 30-year conventional. We'll call that right, no points. Let's see, now let's come back. And we're gonna pay off all of our debt with the equity in our home. We are now saving $1,000 a month. So you take that $1,000 a month, pay it back in towards your principal. You've increased over 10 years your net worth by $73,000 because you're paying down your principal faster because you're making that payment back into your home loan. Does that make sense? So your monthly outgoing hasn't changed. You have more disposable income and you're paying down your house faster. So even though you lost that 3% rate, you won.
Hey, Jen, it's Rainbow. Just one question. How much, I don't know if I missed it. How much did the mortgage, like the monthly
Mortgage
go
payment,
up?
let's go. Look, it's right here. Okay, so your existing was $914. That's principal and interest. Now we went to $1,500.
Okay.
But overall, we were paying $1,200 in installment debt, $425, and revolving. So you went from paying $2,800 a month to $1,700 a month.
Gotcha. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
And everybody's is different. Some people, I mean, and we're not saying, well, I've got these great credit cards at 0%. They don't really have those so much anymore. You might get a furniture loan for that, or maybe a washer and dryer. But for the most part, we're seeing high interest rates and the American debt's just climbing. So it's a good time now with the value we do have in the home. And the nice thing too is we do have value, and that's not taking all of your equity. In this scenario, we're still leaving more than 25% equity in the house. Where was it? Oh, see, we're still leaving $220,000 worth of equity in the house. So you still have that cushion there. Yeah. So you're going to save this, apply that towards your principal. You save 7 years, 6 months on the new term of your loan and increase your net worth. So that's actually, I mean, we're in a good place right now for stuff like that. Buyers coming in, I'm just really encouraging them. Let's sit down, let's look at credit, see where your goals are, what we can do to help you, to put you on the right roadmap. I think, and any agent will tell you, it's so frustrating when you get buyers out in the marketplace first before getting qualified, and they fall in love with something they can't afford. And then everything else they see from that point, they're completely underwhelmed. So getting them in and qualified first, knowing where their comfort zone is for payment, how they can handle their debt, I think is key, especially with so few homes on the market. So, any other questions? Yeah, I think that kind of just covered everything that I wanted to go over.
Sorry, Jen, I do have one question.
Yeah.
Are you guys offering, and if you are, can you please explain it's like, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a certain interest rate. It's like a 3-2-1 step down.
Yes. Yeah. So there are 3-2-1 buy downs, 2-1 buy downs. Yes, we do offer them. Overall, so what it is when you do this, so say our starting rate today is 6.25, and we're going to do, and just to make life simple, a 2-1 buy down. So for year one, the buyer is going to pay an effective rate of 4.25. And then the following year, they pay 5.25. And the year after that, it goes to the 30-year fixed 6.25. The cost to get into this is approximately 2.5% of the loan amount. So what you're doing is you're prepaying the interest up front at closing for those first 2 years. What we're seeing is you're better off taking that 2.5% and just buying the rate down permanently.
Right. Yeah, well, that would make more sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, and again, it's just how the markets are moving. Sometimes the 3-2-1 or the 2-1 buy downs do make dollars and cents. It makes financial sense to do it. Right now, what I'm saying is I'd rather just get you a permanent lower rate for that same price.
Yeah, if you're gonna have to put that much out of pocket up front, I can see why that's a lot.
Yeah, but that is how it's derived, is you're just prepaying the interest up front.
Okay.
So, and sometimes sellers will use that as a marketing tool to, I'm going to go ahead and offer anybody who wants to buy this house a 2-1 buy down.
Okay.
So, yeah, it kind of gives them a little bit of incentive over it.
Mhm.
Same money is better spent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Anyone else? Priscilla, do you have anything you want to add? No. Okay. Well, okay. So that's just kind of a quick overview on how it works. If you guys want to get more into it, look at your actual financials on what what we can do, I'm happy to do that. If you know somebody who's considering buying or somebody who's renting, I'd love to sit down with them and go over their exact scenario with them and see what the best outcome for them is. So
Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you going
thank
over that
you.
information with us.
No problem. Any questions you guys have, you know how to reach me. Just give me a call.
That sounds great. I am
Okay.
gonna hop off for now, but thank you so much. I appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you. You guys have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.